Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu der Vampyr mit Argon
und Angie.
Wir schauen heute mal weiter. Wir haben ja hier in der Leichenhalle einiges rausgefunden hier über Dr. De Puscher. Ja, hier, den werden wir uns jetzt gleich mal vorknöpfen. Ist ja hier im Krankenhaus, da geht's zu. Was ist denn das?
Bürgersuchen.
Ah, die brauchen wir mal nicht.
Ja, unbekannt. Den
Oh,
kennst du noch
unbekannt,
gar
den kenne ich noch gar nicht. Was ist?
Ja, du rennst gegen die Mauer.
Nein, ich habe sie anvisiert, doofe
Du bist
Kuh.
ein Pfosten.
Echt.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swans's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Whoa, okay.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea
Ja, geh einfach durch.
hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Aha.
Okay.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery.
Sowas.
I believe we should stick to the usual
Ich glaube, die haben hier alle ein Problem. Schau, wie der ganz Zeit um Herz zappelt.
Ja.
So redet doch kein Normaler.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Was soll ich denn hier nehmen, ne?
Other people may say that's too conservative a point of view.
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to happen if the surgery is a failure.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Aha.
Okay.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
I don't see any reason why I should justify my actions to you.
That's true, Dr. Reed. The only judge has to be yourself. The question is, are you judging yourself hard enough?
Das sagt er.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Naja.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
So, dann holen wir uns jetzt mal den anderen Dock her. Wenn wir ihn finden.
Just a dozen years or so.
Nee. Oh, doch.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Glaube ich nicht.
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Ja, wenigstens gibt es zu.
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
Naja.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once
Ja, aber ich kann ihn
more, unto the
verstehen,
breach.
also...
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
Okay. Gut.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Haben wir noch jemanden, mit dem wir reden könnten? Wo war denn das nochmal? Ah, das haben wir gemacht.
Zur Apotheker.
Okay, dann machen wir mal das hier. Weil die ist sicher irgendwo hier draußen bei ihm, oder? Ah, da steht sie schon. Oh.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Oh, super Kameraeinstellung.
Die schaut voll an dir vorbei.
Ja. Schieden
Sehr
ein bisschen.
unhöflich hier.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can
Jetzt
afford to
schiebt sie
lose
so
a
rüber zu
brilliant
mir.
practitioner like Dr. Tippett
Wie
in our
geil.
situation?
I can't say I
Sieht aus
approve,
wie ein Kerl, tut mir leid.
but as a field surgeon, I know that some situations
Voll das
require to
männliche
bend the
Gesicht.
rules.
I'm not proud of what I've done, but to contain
der
the
Vater
epidemic
tut
must be
was
our priority. So we can't afford to lose Dr. Tippett.
Ja.
Okay.
I've decided that I won't reveal Dr. Tippett's, shall we say, misdemeanor.
I'm so glad you share my point of view. Dr. Tippett is a brilliant practitioner. We most definitely need his know-how.
I hope you're right. This is a huge risk we're taking.
Dr. Tippett must regain his confidence. Please, keep this decision between you and me. He doesn't need to know you found out.
Ups, weiß er schon.
Hoppla!
Oh, Bestechung. 100 Schillinge. Hammer.
Okay.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Was ist was hier, ne?
Na, gut, dann hätten wir das auch. Auch wenn es nicht so war, wie es ich mir eigentlich vorgestellt habe. Das wissen wir noch nicht und jetzt holen wir uns das mal aus der Apotheke.
Genau, hol den richtigen Stoff aus der Apotheke.
Wo ist die Apotheke?
Da, wo das Y ist, da.
Ja, es sind 2 Ys auf der Karte.
Naja, da musst du es dann hinbringen zum zweiten. Von da musst du es holen und...
Ja, aber das ist die Hauptquest.
Aha. Okay. Dann weiß ich auch nicht.
Fehlende Inhaltsstoffe.
Plumps.
Was? Denn das ist...
Gefährlicher Bürger. Mhm.
Das okay, aber die Medizin können wir der Crane schon mal bringen.
Servus.
Grüß dich!
Nurse Hawkins.
Good
Schau
evening.
mal, ob es bei der was Neues
Dr.
gibt. Na,
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
tschüss.
Wie war die Nacht? Der Tag? Wir arbeiten ja in der Nacht, gell?
Mhm. Oh, die ist unten, okay. Gucken wir mal.
Servus.
Gleich mal voll
Die
dagegen.
ist noch immer blutig.
Ja, die wäscht sich nicht.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Aha.
Okay. Sprich mit, also mit dem muss ich jetzt reden, aber also die Questübersicht ist ein bisschen blöd.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful, I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Okay.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Don't waste your time with me.
Oh, sweet
Den
girl.
noch und dann schauen wir mal zum
Good
Swansea
evening, Mr.
Route.
Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Nee, red mal lieber über was anderes.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Glaubst du, müssen wir mit dem behandelnden Arzt nochmal reden? Mit dem hier? Ist das der, den was ich nicht mag? Ah, das ist der Accurate. Okay, den mag ich nicht. Der da.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you,
Ey, das
Dr.
mit
Reed.
der Kamera,
Can I be
das...
of any help?
Oh.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Aha.
Okay. Okay.
Goodbye, Dr. Stitt.
Zickenterror ist hier ganz schön, ne?
Dann quatschen wir mal mit Swansea. Dürfen wir jetzt rein? Super.
Please, Jonathan, come in.
Sein oder nicht sein?
Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
Okay.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
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 Ja, wer Name für ein nächstes Kind? Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that
Oh,
will
schon klar.
improve your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Wo war die bis jetzt die ganze Zeit?
Frage ich mich auch. Ey, wir
Do you
sind noch
need
nicht
something,
fertig.
Jonathan?
Ich
I
habe
have just a
Fragen.
few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
Oh Mann.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
Gut zu wissen.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings in the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burn me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
Okay.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
But to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
Ah, yes. Oh.
I have just a few questions.
Then ask a...
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skull, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
How do Skulls come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skull?
A Skull is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
Bin ich auch nicht schlauer, aber
We'll
okay.
see each other again soon, Edgar.
So, dann schauen wir mal, was wir hier klauen können. Ja, ihr kennt das Spiel. Pause.
Pause. Geht nicht. Ich kann jetzt nicht Pause drücken.
Du kannst auch nicht lesen, also.
Was? Muss man lesen können? Oh, das für ein Brief. Sehr gerne kümmere ich mich um Sie, um die Leichenhalle. Okay.
Ah, okay, haben wir was Neues über eine Rakesh erfahren. Geh weg da, ich wollte mir das gerade ansehen. Brief.
Kalender.
Waverly Ackroyd. Okay, wissen wir bei ihm auch noch was. So, ist da noch
Dem stört das
irgendwas?
nicht, dass du sein Büro durchsuchst.
Nee.
Das ist geil.
Vor allem, der hat 3 verschiedene Briefe an 3 Ecken seines Raums versteckt. Echt.
Ja.
Gut, das heißt, wir reden jetzt kurz mit dem Ackroyd und mit dem toten Händler da draußen.
Genau, tu das.
Da ist er eh schon, oder? Sieht hochnäsig aus.
Geht einfach nur
Good
die
evening,
Frage
Dr.
drüber.
Strickland.
Ah,
And
ist
good
er
evening
doch
to
nicht.
you, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard any talk of blackmail going on in the hospital?
If you're running some official inquiry, you had better question the patients. They know more than the staff, especially old Miss Jones.
Okay.
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently. Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
Goodbye,
Dann
Dr.
fragen wir ihn
Strickland.
mal.
Ja.
circumstances, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Ist mir egal.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
Okay. Ist nix. Da ist auch nix. Okay.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Kommt sich auch sicher nicht verarscht vor. So.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Nein, hab aufgehört damit.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reed. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the oldest patient here.
Wo ist die?
Ja, die zierliche Person, die da irgendwo rumrennt, oder?
Ja, aber es rennt keiner.
Draußen.
Ja, aber es rennt da draußen keine zierliche Person rum.
Ach ja. War der vorhin auch schon da? Und bist gegen Pfeiler gelaufen. Ja,